Hello, welcome to the lesson. In this video, we are going to learn a practical idea that will help you develop your pieces in the right way. When you are developing your pieces, keep thinking about the killer blow that you are going to deliver in the future. Develop your pieces while keeping the killer blow in your mind. Over the last previous lessons, we have seen many examples of killer blow, and now you have a good idea of which kind of killer blows works in which kind of positions. So when you are developing your pieces, then develop your pieces by keeping the killer blow in mind, so that when you deliver a killer blow, you have a good follow-up after that killer blow. Now let's look at an example. In this position, we are white. White does not have any light square bishop, so we cannot really target the light squares. And if we cannot target the light squares, then we should target the dark squares. We have a dark square bishop, so we can develop our pieces in such a way so that when we deliver a killer blow on dark squares, it becomes possible to attack the king. And that dark square is g7. So the knight goes to g3. The knight is going toward h5, so that from where it can put pressure on the g7 square. Maybe either we are going to sacrifice the knight on g7, or maybe we are going to play moves like queen to g4 to put more pressure on the g7 square, or maybe we are going to simply play bishop h6. But we are going to do something on the dark squares because we have dark square bishop on the board. We don't have the light square bishop. So we can plan here to play on the dark squares. Black plays knight f8. Black is bringing his pieces into the defense, and we go knight h5. Knight is provoking g6. We want black to play g6 so that it creates this dark square weakness, and we have the dark square bishop, so we can try to exploit the dark square weakness. But of course, black is not going to play pawn g6. Here black played knight bd7, just simply developing a piece. And right now we don't have a clear way of bringing the queen to g4. Okay, so maybe we need to get the f3 knight out of the way, and then we can try to bring the queen to g4 to put pressure on the g7 square. So here white first played pawn to g3. You notice that the center is closed. So in the same side castling situation also, we can think about pawn storm attack. We can think about h4, g4, g5, h5, these kind of moves. So white is slowly preparing them. Black played knight g6 and white went h4. White wants a pawn storm attack on the black's king, and later we can also use our pieces to join the attack. Black plays knight f8 and we go king g2. Maybe the idea is to first maybe go rook h1 to protect the h4 pawn, and then we can start pushing the pawns. Black plays here queen d7, and here white found an incredible idea. We can immediately target this dark g7 square, and here white played bishop h6. Unbelievable move, and we are threatening the g7 pawn. So black must capture our bishop, and look, once black has played g cross h6, we have created the dark square weakness around the black's king. These dark squares have become weak, and we can now exploit it. So white played queen d2. White is threatening queen cross h6 and then queen g7 checkmate. So you can see the knight is so useful here. Black played f5. Black wants to defend via the 7th rank, and we do en passant. Generally, the side which is attacking should try to open the lines so that the pieces can go forward and try to attack the king. Black plays bishop d8, and now we play queen cross h6. So here we have two pawns for a piece, plus a lot of dark square weakness, especially the g7 square. Black played a good move here, rook a7. Black wants to strengthen the defense of the 7th rank. And now we play knight g5. We bring even more pieces into the attack. So you can see we have these knights and the queen into the attack, plus this pawn also. And what is our threat? Our threat is that in the next move we are going to play f7 forking the rook and the king. Black played queen cross b5. black got his queen out of the way. We played f5 check, rook cross f7, and now we play knight cross f7. And black is lost here. Black is going to play king cross f7 and we play queen g7 checkmate. And if black does not play it, then we already have lot of material advantage and we are already winning. There is no way for black to save queen g7 checkmate. Notice the placement of this knight. When you are developing your pieces, you should imagine about the killer blow that you are going to deliver in the future and then place your pieces according to that future killer blow. Let's look at one more example. White started with knight f3 and white played a crazy move here, b4. White wants to develop his bishop on this long diagonal. Black played e6, white went bishop b2. Black cannot actually capture our pawn because then we can play bishop cross g7 and trap his rook. So black simply focused on developing his piece. Now we protect the pawn. Okay, because now our pawn was under attack. Black played c5, we took, black took, we play e3. We need to develop our king side pieces. Castling, we play c4 and we go d4. We have placed our pawns in the center. After bishop to b6, we play knight bd2. Queen e7. And look, one of our bishop is already on this diagonal. And now we can play bishop to d3. Now two of bishops are looking toward the opponent's king. But right now we are in the opening stage and the black's king is completely safe. Okay, so let's focus on development. So we go short castle, bishop to d7, black is also developing his pieces. And once we have developed our pieces, then we try to go forward in the opponent's area. So here white played knight to e5, black played bishop e8, and now we play pawn to f4. We are strengthening this knight. And there is one more idea. In the long run, we can play a move like rook f3, then we can play rook h3. We can try to target this h7 pawn. And we have seen many examples of killer blow on the h7 square. This is how we prepare it. Once the bishop, first the bishop is already looking at the h7 square. Our queen can also join the attack once we remove the f6 knight. Plus we are also preparing rook f3. So in future we can think about delivering a killer blow on the h7 square. Black plays rook ac8. And before we launch an attack, before we try to go forward with our attack, we first play rook c1. Our first priority is to develop all of our pieces. Black played knight d7. Black wants to exchange our strong knight. So here white played knight cross e6. Black played rook cross e6. And white played pawn to c5. If black won't here, black can play a move like bishop a5. Okay. But black decided to play a tricky idea. Here black said, I'm going to sacrifice this knight. And what is the compensation? Why are we sacrificing the knight? Black says after d cross e5, I'm going to play bishop cross e5. I'm attacking the e3 pawn and I'm also attacking the a3 pawn. So I'm going to get 3 pawns for the piece. So it's an equal exchange and I can do it. Now the question is, should we defend the e3 pawn or should we try to defend the e3 pawn? Here the e3 pawn is more important because if black captures on e3, it will come with a check. Okay, so here we play rook f3. Now you see, lifting the rook was already white's plan. This is what white wanted to do. Because we are also preparing, we are trying to prepare some kind of killer blow on the h7 square. So we need to develop our pieces in such a way so that h7 killer blow works in our favor. And black played b cross a3. Black went according to his plan. He took 3 pawns for the piece. First we exchange this rook, b cross e7. And now can we deliver a killer blow on h7? And how do you find the answer? Answer is in the calculation. We assume, let's say we play bishop cross h7 check. Black will play king cross h7. Then we play rook h3 check. Black king will go back and black's king look relatively safe. And in the previous examples we have seen that we need a backup sacrifice. So we can play bishop cross g7 to destroy the pawn cover of the king. King captures it, maybe then we can bring our queen and try to attack it. King is very vulnerable. If black king goes king f8, then we play rook h8 checkmate. And if black plays king f6, then we play queen g5 checkmate. So you see, if black accepts our second sacrifice, then it's going to be a checkmate. And if black does not accept our sacrifice, then we have at least 2 pawns for the piece. So we are not a whole piece down. We are not 3 points down. We are down only 1 point. I know maybe it looks complicated to you, but let's go step by step. Okay. Here white played bishop cross h7 check, king cross h7, rook h3 check. Okay. King goes back. Now the king looks safe. And in the previous example, when we were studying the killer blow on h7, we learned that once we have sacrificed a piece on h7, then we need a follow-up attack. We need a follow-up sacrifice. Okay, so here white plays bishop cross g7. And the best part is black cannot even take our bishop, because then we bring our queen into the attack with check. If king goes f8, then it's a rook h8 checkmate. If king goes to f6, then it is queen g5 checkmate. So when you sacrifice a piece on g7, black cannot capture the piece. And this is in itself a big hint that your attack is going to work. Look, when you sacrifice pieces like this and opponent cannot capture your piece, then it's a hint that your attack is going to work. You have managed to destroy the pawn cover of the opponent, and you can bring your pieces into the attack, and opponent cannot even capture your piece. That's a very strong situation for you. So here black played f6. Black wants to defend via the 7th rank, and we can just come back. Bishop h6. Okay, we sacrifice a piece for 2 pawns, and the king has become exposed. Now we have the rook in the attack. We can bring our queen into the attack. Queen g4 is a deadly move. Okay, so let's say black tries to prevent it, but then we can shift the attack. We can play rook g3 check, king h7, and we can play bishop g5. After queen e8, we can capture the rook. And the best part is black cannot even capture our bishop, because then it's a checkmate. So here white is completely winning. And if black tries to run away via king f7, then we can give a check. Stop the black king from running away. King g8, we can play rook g3 check, and the attack is so strong. We have the queen, we have rook, and we have bishop in the attack. And black only has the queen in the defense. So we also have the local superiority here, because these 2 pieces are not doing anything. So the king has to go to the h file, and now we can play moves like bishop f8 check, queen h7, give another check. Queen cannot take it because queen is pinned. King is forced to go here. Then we capture on f6. King f8, and we capture the queen. So white is completely winning. So remember this idea. When you are developing your pieces, then keep thinking about the killer blow that you are going to deliver in future, and develop your pieces to prepare that killer blow. That's it for this lesson.